What's up guys, in this video we are going to be talking about the entire story of Kronos, the king of the Titans, from the circumstances around his birth, the epic battle against his son Zeus, and the eventual fate of Kronos. Everything you need to know about the king of Titans is right in here. In various literary works and even in games, Kronos has been defined as a villain. But despite everything that happened to the Titans, the reign of Kronos is still acknowledged as the golden age of Greek mythology. Even more, if you trace back every Greek mythological story, it all goes back to this one guy, Kronos. He gave birth to the first Olympian gods, and every other god or demigod moving forward were either his grandchildren, far-off descendants, or distant relatives. So what's so unique about this Titan? Is he every bit the villain that history has made him out to be? You are about to find out. Welcome to Of Mysteries and Myths. Today we are going to be discussing Kronos, the king of the Titans. Oh, by the way, every image you see in this video was edited using a Lightroom preset pack, and you can use it to edit your photos fast, like I did. You can check it out using the link in the description. Now let's dive into our story. We begin our journey with the birth of Kronos. Kronos was born without much fanfare. He was the youngest of 12 children, which were collectively called Titans. They were the founding Titans. Each of the Titans had a realm, an aspect of nature they presided over. For Kronos, he was the Titan of agriculture and the destructive aspects of time. This is one piece of a much bigger puzzle. We need to know what happened before Kronos was born and what happened after. So before Kronos, there was Uranus and Gaia, the father and mother. Uranus was the embodiment of the sky, while Gaia was the embodiment of the earth. But there was also Uncle Tartarus. Tartarus manifested as an abyss deep in the underworld, and he served as a prison for eternal punishment. Now back to Uranus and Gaia. These two gave birth to the 12 founding titans of Greek mythology, and these children were the perfect standard in the eyes of their father. They were strong, they were mighty, and they were good looking. Underline the word good looking. It's an important detail. After the birth of Kronos, Uranus and Gaia gave birth to 6 other children. The first 3 were the Cyclopes. They were the original Cyclops. Because of their odd look, they looked so terrible. Their father Uranus did not like them, and he hated them so much that he did not even want to look at them. So he decided to hide them, because that's the most convenient option, right? He could not hide them in the sky because he was the sky, and he could not hide them in Tartarus. They were just newborns, so he hid them deep in the earth. And don't forget, the earth is his wife. It's like forcing a child back into the mother's womb. Imagine the kind of torment that is. All of this decision making, Uranus did it alone. He didn't consult his wife, and he sure as hell did not ask his children about it. While Uranus was doing all these things, Kronos was watching. After the Cyclopes, Uranus mated with Gaia again, and this time around she bore the Hecatoncheires. But these creatures, they had 100 arms and 50 heads. These were complete abominations to Uranus. He thought the Cyclopes were bad enough, but there were some even more fearsome looking children. From the moment they were born, he hated them. And since no one said anything the last time, Uranus did it again. He imprisoned his children in the depths of their mother. Again, Kronos was watching. He had just seen his father force back 6 of his younger siblings into his mother's body. He saw the pain and agony his mother was going through, but no one said anything because they all feared their father. This drove Kronos mad, and it sets the stage for the dangerous things he was about to do. If you found this video helpful or you love my idea of storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel so I can make content like this for you. After an unknown period of time, Gaia could not take the pain anymore. She was hurting emotionally and physically because, she had 6 of her children buried inside her, and her husband was an uncaring bastard. So she devised a not so clever plan. You remember the Titans? She called them and begged them to save her from the cruelty of their father. None of them agreed to help her. They could only sympathize, and that was the last straw for Kronos. His father was an abusive maniac, his mother was in pain, his younger siblings were imprisoned for being born, and his older siblings, who he was supposed to look up to, were nothing but cowards. And right there, something within him snapped. Kronos chose to step up. He was the youngest of the Titans, but he was by far the bravest. I shall avenge you, mother, of the evil deeds of my father. That was what he told his mom, or something like that. When she saw the courage of Kronos, Gaia weaponized it. And I mean, she literally weaponized it. She made a sickle out of unbreakable steel, gave it to Kronos, and told him of her grand plan. Remember this, folks? Hell adds no fury like a woman scorned. Gaia asked her son to castrate his own father. That's by far one of the most devious and morally complicated plots I have ever heard. But for Kronos, for the love of his mother, to free his siblings from the oppression of their father, he was willing to do anything. When Gaia knew Uranus was coming for some round of mating session, she hid Kronos somewhere in the dark. I don't know about you, but that sounds kinky. Here is Kronos hiding in the dark and watching his parents getting all chummy and sexy. When he saw that his father had let his guard down, Kronos dashed out of his hiding place, grabbed hold of his father's definitely erect genitalia and cut them off. That was wild. Kronos had just castrated a primordial being. In that moment, in that very moment, he felt liberated. He had just freed himself from the overbearing shadow of his father. The suppressive feeling was gone. He was free. But that freedom would come at a cost. The very act of castrating his father was a turning point in Kronos' story arc. To understand just how relevant this was, we are going to see a play-by-play of what happened immediately after. Kronos, what have you done? I freed the world from your tyranny, father. I freed mother from your oppression. I freed myself from your shadow. I am the liberator. At what cost? What? All this plotting, all the freedom you claim to have, at what cost? I don't understand. It doesn't matter, except it does. I am your father. I held the heavens together. I was respected and feared by everyone. And you took that away from me. You oppressed father. You abused mother. And you went too far. Did you even stop to think about what will happen after? I didn't. No, I did not stop to think. I just did what I had to do. Foolish son of mine. Let me tell you what will happen after. It's me gone. The world will descend into chaos. Now children will think it's normal to overthrow their fathers. No, father, this is different. Is it? Yes, this is different. You were cruel, and so were you. You were a monster. I am your father. You think you'll be any better? Yes, I will. I'll be a much more better father. Well then, I curse you, Kronos. Just as you did me, you shall be overthrown by your own seed. From that day forward, Kronos began to live in fear. Fear that he too would be overthrown, just like he had done his father. Although he defeated his father, Kronos did not banish him to Tartarus. His father just kind of faded into the background. History never really talked much about Uranus afterwards. All eyes were now on Kronos. That's how Kronos became the unelected king of the Titans. The reign of the Titans was considered the golden age in Greek mythology. The Titans flourished, they multiplied, there was peace and there was abundance throughout the cosmos. For the most part of Kronos' reign, everything was going smoothly. But Kronos made a big mistake. You remember the deal he made with his mother Gaia, the one where he would avenge her and free his siblings. Kronos never did that. He broke his promise. You need to understand, this guy was cursed by his father, while his mother, the mastermind of the whole plan, just stood there. He felt betrayed and he was terrified of his father's curse. So no, Kronos did not free the Cyclopes or the Hecatoncheires. Who's to say they wouldn't gang up together to overthrow him? And that was one of the many mistakes Kronos began to make. Kronos married his sister Rhea, and together they gave birth to a baby boy. The name of this child was Hades. As Kronos carried his first son in his arms, he felt odd. Actually, he did not even know how to feel. Having lived his life in the shadow of his father, he did not want his son to suffer the same fate. But then, his demons started to speak. They reminded him of his past sins. They reminded him of his father's curse. Mentally, he saw the sly smile of his father. Slowly, dread began to creep in. The birth of his son was supposed to be a joyous moment. but it only unleashed the dark side. Kronos did not want to be overthrown. He had to dispose of this child. Of course, he could not imprison the child in the earth. That didn't turn out well the last time. And he could not send a newborn to Tartarus. In that moment, a bright idea came to him. What if I swallow the child instead? Kronos did not want to kill his child. Instead, he chose to imprison him within his own body. And so he stilled his resolve and swallowed his son. Rhea was devastated. She had not even nursed her son yet. She had no say in the fate of the child. She wept and she wailed, but Kronos would not release Hades. It had to be done, he told Rhea. You should understand. Regardless of how hot Rhea felt, Kronos was her husband. She knew how terrified he was about their father's curse, so she managed to bury her sorrow. However, Kronos did not stop at one. He swallowed every child that Rhea gave birth to. In total, 5 children were swallowed by Kronos. At this point, Rhea could not take it anymore. Just like his father before him, Kronos had hurt his wife and now she was desperate. In her desperation, Rhea went to her parents for help. Gaia, the same mastermind, gave her a plan on how to save her next child. Rhea would give Kronos a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes, while she would help hide her son. The next time Rhea gave birth, she bore a beautiful baby boy. To prevent Kronos from swallowing the child, she gave him to Gaia and Gaia hid him in Crete. When Kronos came as usual, Rhea offered him a stone which she had wrapped in baby clothes. Kronos, without looking, swallowed the stone and went away. However, he did not know that one child had escaped and was coming to destroy him. Years passed by, and that hidden child grew up to become Zeus. When Zeus reached adulthood, he learned about the atrocities of his father. With the help of his grandmother Gaia, he devised a plan to free his siblings and overthrow Kronos, his father. So Zeus disguised himself as a servant and served Kronos a drink which was laced with a powerful emetic. The potion worked very well and Kronos began to vomit uncontrollably. One by one, he regurgitated his children. First of all was the stone, which he swallowed in place of Zeus, and then every one of his child came out from within him. They emerged fully grown, but Zeus did not stop there. You remember those siblings Kronos had promised to free but he never freed? The Cyclopes and the castrates. Zeus set them free. Grateful for their liberation, the Cyclopes forged powerful weapons for the new god. They gave thunderbolts to Zeus, they made a trident for Posidon, and they made a powerful helmet of invisibility for Hades. This was the beginning of the Titanomachy, a great war between the Titans and the Olympians. This battle would rage on for 10 long years. Kronos, the Titan king, rallied together his army, but many of the Titans were reluctant. Some of them even switched sides and supported Zeus against him. However, Kronos would not go down easily. The war was as brutal as it was devastating. Mountains crumbled, the earth shook, the very foundations of the world trembled. In the final days of the decade-long war, the Centaurs proved to be very powerful allies. When they joined in with the Olympic gods against the Titans, there was a shift in the battle. Slowly and slowly, Kronos was losing. The once mighty king was beginning to see defeats. His paranoia had cost him dearly. By keeping the Cyclopes and the Centaurs in prison, he had denied himself of powerful allies who were now fighting against him. His treatment of his own children had turned them into his greatest enemies. Even his wife Rhea had betrayed him, and in one final battle, Kronos was defeated by his son Zeus. The final fate of Kronos is still up for debate. While most texts suggest that Zeus cast Kronos into Tartarus for all eternity, some believe that he was exiled to a peaceful island where the once powerful Titan ruled over what was left of his kingdom. But one thing is sure, Kronos was never truly free. He lived his life in fear. By the time he realized this, he was all alone. He had rallied what was left of his kingdom, waged a war against his children, and he still lost. Because of one extreme action which he made, he was haunted forever. Now he spends eternity in Tartarus, wondering to himself, could things have gone differently? And that's it, guys. The entire life story of Kronos. His birth, his rebellion, his reign, and his eventual downfall. Now that you know pretty much everything about Kronos, do you think he's still the villain? I mean, sure, he did some pretty crazy things, but if you were Kronos and you did not already know what will happen in the future, what would you have done? Let me know in the comments. Until I come your way again, check out my other videos and learn what you need to know about ancient mythology.